All right, welcome to Judging Bouncing Balls. Toby, how are you doing?
Great. Real good. Man, I like our intro.
It is a good it's nice. It's upbeat. It's like kind of got some graphical interface. I mean, it's a good time. Yeah.
Yeah, you really did a nice job putting that together with the band, working with some people from out east,
That's right.
percussionists from out east, some horns from out
I,
west, putting it together.
I just want to thank whoever the author was of that music that I found for free, uncopyrighted on a site somewhere, and I downloaded it and put it to the video that came from Riverside, which is also uncopyrighted, and there you go.
Yeah. Hopefully
I
they never win
pirated it
royalties.
all.
Yeah. That's what we're doing now. Stealing.
Stealing. I love it. It's good stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, what an
Yeah.
exciting week. What did we
Yeah,
do
for
this week?
sure.
Oh, we were in Milwaukee this weekend.
Yeah, we got to play two teams from Michigan, which was great down in Uline. I will say, we were down in Uline and we got kind of put in the back fields, like wherever they didn't, like if you were the bad kid, like that's where they put you. You're like, oh, this person is terrible. We're going to put them out of sight and out of mind. They kind of put us out of sight and out of mind. I don't know if it was because that's FC Waves home stadium or home complex. They were maybe a tad bit salty over the state cup, but we found ourselves in the corner multiple times. So
Yeah, usually we walk in, right? We get the stadium because they have a really nice stadium. That's where the girls' high school and boys' high school state championship is. They have another turf across the parking lot, and then they've got like this. They have fields, but our first field was like in a corn patch. I mean, the grass was long,
mhm.
um, and we will discuss that game and the instances that happened during the game. And then on Sunday, right, they put us in the back 40, which you had to walk past two fields to get to. So
Mhm.
that was a little disappointing because parking was terrible on Sunday. So, and then it was cold and windy. So it wasn't a
Yeah.
great weekend. I mean, we won both, but to be honest, we should. Oh, excuse me. Actually, the 2010 girls on Facebook, Paul, had done a few breakdowns just to start with our league here.
Mhm.
Um, the USYS E64RL. Don't know what RL stands for.
That's a mouthful.
Yeah, but our club record in the Elite 64 was 28 3 and 4. So that's the tens, nines, eights, sevens, and sixes. So we had three losses as a club, four ties.
Okay.
Now we took one of those losses in Michigan. We didn't have all of our players, but either way, we did take a loss, which was disappointing. Uh, Goals scored was 139. Goals allowed was 26. So it's a goal differential of 113. So I know the club had more expectations going in, thinking this was a better league, but it turns out that it wasn't.
Hmm. Not so much.
And we have three league titles: U15s, 16s, and 19s, and then U17s tied for first, but lost in a tiebreaker. U13 and 14 will not get a title till spring when they finish their season. Our season is done because of high school, so we are done with that aspect of our travel this year. But we played two teams from Michigan, the Jaguars and the Nationals, and that sounds pretty impressive, right? I mean, hey,
Yes.
we're playing the Nationals.
Nationals.
Whoa, but it wasn't. We did get off to an early lead on Saturday at 2-2 or 2-0, and then they did catch us by halftime at 2-2. I
Yep.
don't know what coach said to the girls, but it ended up to be 6-2. Um, we did have an incident again, and it was an odd one. This is new.
Controversy
Usually,
loves us.
I say something to the ref. The ref yells at me, threatens me to sit in my car, threatens to take me in the parking lot. But this one wasn't us. Felt good about that.
Yeah.
But why don't you explain what happened?
Oh man. So I mean, I'm probably going to need your help because I'm even a little foggy on it. But I mean, essentially, there was I mean, a little bit of apparently they got frustrated. The players got frustrated with our fans celebrating or yelling for our team. So if you've never been to one of our games, we have a number of fans that are very enthusiastic, have very fun sayings for our team that most teams don't even, couldn't even conjure if they were put into a room to try to think up these great ideas to cheer on their team. We got a lot of good ones, right? And so we like to yell those, and we tend to be very rambunctious or boisterous about this. So apparently that was annoying the other team, and then that kind of came to a head. They had been complaining, I guess this is what I understand to the ref, and then there was a play down in the box inside the 18 where one of our players kind of got tackled from behind, which usually is kind of a sign of a penalty. And so we were kind of like, hey, that's where's the call? And then all of a sudden the game stopped, and we're like, what's going on? And the refs all went over, and then and then it was just like apparently I didn't think what we had said. I've been to a lot of games and we've gotten fired up about certain things. This was like super tame, super tame. But apparently it had really boiled over to the point in the other team's mind that we were being very egregious and very belittling and whatever. And so then at that point when they were talking, one of our fans cheered, I think it was your wife, and one of their players was like, "Shut up." And we're like, what is going on? And then I'll let you finish with kind of what happened.
Well, then so I guess the ref went over to our coach and our DOC Eric and said, "Hey, if you don't say something, we're not going to start the game again or something completely outlandish." So Eric, our DOC, came to the half field and said, "Keep it down" or something. I don't know.
Well, he just said, I think it was Loons fans, knock it off, and, stop, and focus on our fans or something. I don't know, something along those lines. But there was a knock it off in there. It was definitely this clear message of stop whatever you're doing. And we're like,
Right.
what are we doing?
But, and that was the hard part. And I talked to Eric after, and he's like, "Hey, I'm sorry, but we had to say something, or the guy wasn't going to start the game." He didn't feel, I think, from what I took from our conversation or texting, that if we were doing anything preposterous. Um, there was a
Egregious.
moment there, egregious. There was a moment there where my brain said, "Nobody yells at me. Nobody puts baby in the corner." So do we come back out fighting and say, "You can take that and boop"? No. The other side, the angel, right? Said, "All
Mm-hmm.
right." And then we just continue doing what we were doing, cheering for the team. You're absolutely correct. Our parents are very boisterous. I mean, we're putting in the time, effort, and money, so we might as well enjoy it too. So there's some
Dang right.
screaming for. If you came to our game and found that our parents were cheering negatively to anybody, maybe besides their own kid, I
Right.
would give you $5.
Yeah. Agreed. Yeah. They're very, very of the players. So yeah, it's just it was interesting because like the other team thought we were getting on, and it was funny because your wife at one point was like, she calls Macy, and we were like, man, is there another girl on the team that's Linda on the other team? And like when we were cheering for Linda, they thought we were cheering for them and like making fun of that. Like we went through everything and we're like, what is going on? Yeah, it was a really odd. Like they got very offended, and I'm not sure by what. Apparently they want like people in church pews over there, just like not doing anything. So I don't know. It was bizarre. But what was funny was everybody to a T, almost everyone was very defensive about like, what do we do? And then it became this. No, I'm not doing. Screw that. I didn't do anything wrong. And we got all fired up about it. Very fired up about they better not come over and tell us anything. And then they came over and told us, and people got a little fired up. Not naming any names. It was there were a lot of people that got kind of fired up. So
And at the end of the day, we, I even said, you start. I've been accused of things, right? You were standing next to me for all of them. You look at me like, "Oh Lord, I'm doing this by myself." Um, but every time I've ever been talked to, that's enough. I shut it down. Um, so this time was weird because we're all on the same sideline. Like, what are we doing?
Yeah,
So,
it was pretty funny. But anyways, all's well that ends well. We won the game. Uh,
and
they
let's be
yeah,
honest, when they were 2-2, everything was fine. But
yeah,
when it was 3-2, 4-2, 5-2, then
yeah. And then
6-2, all of a sudden the wheels came off, and
suddenly we were being mean and disparaging, and
right,
when all we do is say, like fire in the hole or you biscuit in the basket, and it's like I don't know why you get annoyed by that. It's not anything disparaging. It's not. Yeah, we're loud, but get over it. If those girls have any dreams, which most of them they probably shouldn't, but if they had any dreams of playing at a higher level, they probably shouldn't worry about it because they're
right,
going to be playing in front of people that are going to cheer. So
right. And Joe, my wife, she came up with it. We love winning. We do, the whole team. I love
yep.
winning. So that's all part of it. So that capped off a Saturday victory.
Hmm.
And then we came back on Sunday at yeah, it was such a 10 a.m.
Toby needs a nap.
At 10 a.m., right? And we're on the back 40 and we're playing the Michigan Jaguars. And you
Ooh,
think Jaguars, very astute, fast, crushing animal, right? Crush their
oh
soul.
yes,
Exact opposite. Like this team was terrible.
they
And
should
I
have called
mean
them the
that
Lap Cats.
the lab cat, right? Because they got hurt every 5 minutes. Somebody was laying on the turf.
Yeah,
That number 30, and maybe she was injured. I don't know, but she would go down and then the coach would run out and then they'd huddle. And this is what I don't understand. How are you letting teams huddle? Like you're letting a group meeting every time there's an injury, right?
and,
And then
and for
we
the
nicknamed one.
and for those, yeah, I'm going to interrupt you, but for those that didn't see it, we're not talking like a quick little hey huddle. We're talking 3 to 5 minutes. Nobody's even worried about anybody that's hurt. They're all standing there and they're just talking. Like they called a timeout and they're having a huddle, like that kind of huddle. I mean, it's not like is this person okay while she's getting tended to? We're going to go talk over here. She was in the huddle. They were just standing there
It's
talking like nothing had happened. You'd have to go back and watch it, which you can. It's bizarre. It's bizarre.
well, then one of their parents, we nicknamed him the deer hunting doctor because he was wearing orange. And so that means he's a deer hunter. And then he was like hustling everywhere. He came off the sidelines. He ran all the way around. We thought it was his kid, right? Because he hustled his butt over to the bench. And I turned to you and I said, if I did that to my daughter, and you said the same thing, we would be beaten by our kids. Like if
Yeah,
we ran to their aid on the sideline, like, oh my God, are you okay? My daughter would probably beat me to death.
yeah.
So the deer hunting doctor at one point went on the field and carried a kid off the field.
Well, no, he didn't carry her off the field. There was the goalie that got hurt. She went off
That's
the
right.
field, and then he went over there after he'd already tended to another kid, which we thought was his kid. He went to this kid, tended to her for a while. They stopped the game for again another 5 minutes. Then he picks her up like a sack of potatoes, like this, carrying her in their arms, and he walks around the field. He probably walked 150 yards with her, carried her like he just married her and took her across the threshold. And you're like, what is this guy doing? And he carries her all the way around and sets her down. Like it was crazy.
First off, wouldn't you be kind of creepy guy, like picking a random kid up, like
I
carrying
mean,
her for 2 miles? Like,
I
what
mean,
are
I
you
guess it's
doing?
a dad's teammate, but I'm sorry, I've never once thought, hey, Ava Durant just got hurt. I'm gonna go pick her up and carry her off.
Scoop her up and be the hero.
Like, what is going on? It was bizarre. I don't even think
And
Javier would pick his own kid up.
right? And that goalie got hurt and she was standing next to the post and her own teammate, like so our girls were talking, their teammate turned and yelled at like our girls, like, stop talking about us. And they're like, we're not talking about you. And then they're like to the goalie, like, hey, you're our only goalie. And she said, and she yells, I don't give up. And I'm like, what is happening here?
It was
Like it
crazy.
is cold, and we won 7-0, and I think we could have won by more.
Oh yeah.
Uh,
I was thinking about it afterwards. I really think the reason why every time they fell down, they got hurt, and it took I think they were just trying to stall the game. Honestly, I think that's really what it was. Either they were the softest, like, Charmin-esque ever, or they just were trying to stall the game, which is what I think it was. They just tried to stall and stall and stall, and then boom, it's over.
because the AR in front of us, we were talking to him, and we're like, hey, can you make sure it's running clock? He's like, oh, I'm going to make sure we're not stopping this clock. And at one point in the first half, he's like, we need to call this game.
Yeah, he did. And that was at the first half.
Right. And we're like, I don't know if you can do that. And he's like, oh, we need to do that. And we're like, perfect. We can get home. It's cold out here. And they were driving all the way back to Michigan. So
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he was from Brazil. I've known a couple people from Brazil, and he had that accent. I'm pretty sure that's where he was from, but he was awesome. He was probably one of the funniest ARs, the most honest ARs I've ever seen, because he was talking to us about all kinds of stuff. And then, yeah, he was very honest about how his disdain for the quality of the game and that he wanted it to end.
right. We didn't say one thing about it. And there were very little calls, but we're like, we did tell him the shoe was untied. Thought that was nice.
Yeah.
Eric chimed in. He was trying to get the refs to call it. My question is, somebody said, well, you have to play a full game for it to count. And I'm like, they need to change that rule because we beat the way 14. Like it's a running clock, right? So in football, if you go up 35 points, they run the clock. They don't stop it for anything. In soccer, it's a running clock no matter what.
Yeah. Agreed.
So, I mean, there's got to be a way if you're up 10 points, they just knock it down and just call it. State Cup needs to be a full game. Okay, so league rules maybe. Well, maybe we should have called it.
But anyways, it was a bizarre game. I mean, just really, really odd game. It was, yeah. Luckily, the thing that I was most pleased of, lots of people got to play, and nobody got hurt. That was a success.
Yep, exactly right.
At least none of our players got hurt. I mean,
I don't want to on the other team.
I don't want to see them get hurt either. But I'm just saying they apparently, if they were being honest, there was multiple girls hurt. So
it's on our on the Judging Bouncing Balls Facebook page is the game. If you're excited tonight and want to watch it all night, you can zip through it because it is so bad. Like every 3 minutes, there's somebody laying on the ground like they got shot. And at one point, their goalie was really injured, I think, and they were dancing. Their girls were dancing.
Yeah, well, and this is the thing. They would get hurt. I watched their team they would get hurt. And then as soon as they'd huddle up, everybody's like, they're all laughing and telling jokes. Like, and nobody seemed to care. Everybody was just like, that's what made it feel like it wasn't real. And yes, Eric says nobody got hurt except for every Jaguar player. Pretty much. I mean, it was like you turn around and another girl's hurt. And it's like, at one point, maybe they were hurt, but you kind of question whether or not they really were. I don't know. So it was bizarre.
I thought number 30 got shot at one point. She was rolling around on the ground, and then all of a sudden, 2 minutes later, she comes bouncing back in like, I'm good. And I'm like, yeah, you're either hurt or you're injured, right?
Correct.
If you're hurt, you play. I mean, your daughter played with a broken arm for what, 15 minutes out there in the Madison game years ago?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
Won't be all like something. Yeah, it was amazing. She ran like this. It was the craziest thing.
She went in. Yeah, she went in. She challenged the goalie. She got tripped up, flew over, broke her wrist, and then played the second half. But yeah, that's the point. Paul did bring this up, and this is a great point. At one point, there was a play where their girl went in and forearm shivered our girl down, like hit her. I mean, it probably could have been a card. Like she went in with her elbow high, knocked the girl down. And they called a foul, and he's like, that's not a foul, a deer hunting doctor. That's not a foul. And then he proceeds to tell the ref, the AR, that he's a ref as well, and that would never be a foul. He refs soccer, and he knows the rules. And we're like, what is this guy's? Apparently he smokes as well because this guy is loony out of his mind. And he's arguing the refs. So Paul mentioned this as well. Yeah, they were arguing, the parents were arguing with the refs. Meanwhile, this whole bleep show is going on the field. It's like, what is going on? It was a bizarre game, man. It was weird.
You said it earlier. The Wave, SC Wave put on it was their day. I think they just put us in every bad corner we could because we beat them pretty good in the cup. So they were disappointed.
Hey,
By the way, I'm going to say this
uh-oh.
because we are not affiliated with any club. We're not affiliated with anybody but me and you. But did you see the SC Wave Facebook or the Twitter post?
Mm-mm. No.
So they did a Twitter post with the second place team with the state cup, and it said, "Congratulations on our E64 team taking second at state cup."
I did see that actually. Now that you mentioned that, E64, it's like, hold on there.
Right? They brought in their whole GA national team to play us. We beat them, and then I think what they did was they used the 64 moniker, and then they got those points for taking second. So now their E64 team is actually ranked
Higher.
really high. Yeah. So some of the parents were talking like, do we make a burner account to be like, hey, that's crazy. Then see a lot of your 64 players out there. And we're like, what does it matter? But the gamesmanship outside of the game is quite funny.
Yeah, I'd just say we saved our league a lot of embarrassment. That's all I'll say. Because if they would have won and sent their E64 team down to NAT regionals, that would have looked absolutely atrocious for our league.
Yes.
Our league should send us a check, honest to God, because we're going to make our league look a lot better than what it would have if that team would have won. So Eric, you need to tell them, send us a check. They owe us, or state, whatever. They make us.
Somebody send us a check.
Well, it should be either we make our state look better, yes, Joe, but we also make our league look better because if we send that team, our E64 looks atrocious, and everybody's like, "Why would I want to join that garbage heap if somebody goes down and get beat 20-0 at regionals?"
Well, right, and that the Waves gave the Jaguars a great game. Good Lord! But on the other hand, the team in front of you is all you got, right? And I do know that the club was expecting a lot more from this league, but maybe we're that good. Maybe just cleaning house. Maybe we're just sweeping under the rug. Maybe Dr. Deer Hunter thought he had something.
We should probably get a new nickname for him, but that's funny.
Yeah.
So, anyways.
Oh, but I did upcoming show. I texted you about a friend of mine who I played rugby with is in I don't know if Eric would know him, but one of the DOCs at Cap City in Lansing, Michigan. So he's going to come on the show. He's quite busy. He's got something to do with Michigan State soccer. I don't know if it's on the club side or the real side, but he's going to be down in Texas for a while with that team. So he, successful coach, runs a Mac Rock style organization over there, player development that he owns. So I reached out to him, and he is going to come on the show. So in a couple weeks. So, I've kind of some new perspective on what we're doing here.
That'll be good. Maybe he has a club that knows some of our friends that we just made.
We're going to ask him if he knows the Jaguars. I bet you're very disappointed in the Jaguars too. I bet you Dr. Death came from his team, maybe too. Dr.
Maybe he trained him to be a ref.
Yeah. Right. So what's going on? Oh, Bobby Knight, Indiana basketball coach, died today. Very disappointed.
Yeah. There's probably a lot. What's funny? I was thinking about that. I don't know if there's really any high schooler that probably even knows who Bobby Knight is. Last time he coached. his late 2000s, I think. It was with Texas Tech, right?
He did, yes, because he got thrown out of Indiana for punching that kid or
Yeah, and I mean, he had a lot of
explaining the drill to the kid twice,
physically
physically. I played in a golf
showed him
tournament in
once and
Appleton. I'm saying the kid had 2 black eyes. Showed him twice. I played in a golf outing in Appleton, and him and Dick Bennett were there.
really.
That was it. Yeah, they didn't. They did not play with me or come near me, but I thought that'd have been nice if they would have. Yeah, but if you don't know who Bobby Knight is, go back and YouTube Bobby Knight's speeches and the things he said. And I just was watching one where he was in an interview, and all of a sudden he's just, you can take this beep and show and shove it up your, and he just, it was great. He threw a chair across the court.
He did at a ref.
Yeah, in front of the whole Indiana crowd. Talked about being buried upside down so the whole world could kiss his ass on the way out. I mean, just great stuff.
Okay, so
Here's the
show. Here's the show. The name of the show. Then it's going to be "We're Not as Bad as Bobby Knight." Because what the heck? He threw literally a chair, and we're not talking like this is a chair that doesn't fold. He threw it at the ref. We've never done anything like that. I mean, maybe a couple like, "Hey, did you see that?" type things, but we didn't like try to physically accost a ref. I mean, come on. Times have changed.
Well, we also have not coached a national champion, so
true. But I mean, come on.
There's a fine line. Yeah, but the best is go a whole college and city and state backed this man up at his worst. And now this is back when you can do all this, but it was, it was fantastic. And then everybody else hated, and then everybody's kind of like, well, it's Bobby Knight, he's a little nuts, but we'll kind of let him go. He threw a chair. What happened? He got ejected from the game. Like, I don't think he got much more. And I could be wrong. But man, he was a different breed.
Hey, so how about this? Bringing up Bobby Knight, Paul Adamski was in journalism class and got to interview Bobby Knight. That's a story in itself. Where was that on the podcast when Paul was on? I mean, come on, that's gold, Jerry.
I did yell at Paul and Matt that came on that night because we make fun of Sheedy all the time because of his. She was trying to be all professional, like, whoa, when I play, and it's like this wasn't about that. So I think we're gonna have to have Paul back on to talk about some of these stories.
I think so. I mean, this one with Bobby Knight, this sounds good. Sounds really good. And if he was that scared afterwards, I mean, that could be a story in itself.
Right. But so yeah, if you Google Bobby Knight, because it is, man, he was a great one. And then he kind of went. Then somebody did the secret film of him. That kind of was the end of him.
Yeah, well, that wasn't great. I mean, listen, he wasn't perfect by any stretch, but he was a really good coach, hard-nosed coach. Very emotional, obviously, when you're throwing chairs at refs. But yeah, he was a good coach. He won multiple national titles, I believe, right, with Indiana.
I think he won one for sure. Yeah, I don't know if he won more than one.
Okay, but he made Texas Tech relevant.
How long does he last in a college today coaching?
Ooh, not long. No way.
I mean, he goes and sits at your house. He tells you, Mr. Casper, we'd love your son to play for us. Perfect. Your son calls day 2. He's like, Dad, the coach punched me, called me every name in the book. I think I'm done.
Verbally assaulted him every day in practice.
Right. Probably threatened the AD, probably threatened the president of the college, and yeah, he's gone right away.
Yeah, he's got to be, honestly.
Night in our lives.
I mean,
not some physical abuse, like
yeah.
not going there, but the hard nose, like grit.
That part is the good side. That his teams were very hard nosed. That is for sure. So yeah, I'm with you on that aspect. The physical side, we don't need that, but yeah, we need a little more toughness. And apparently, Paul Adamski has a story on Randy Moss too. So I mean, I just don't know where all that was. This is all stuff that should have gone in. Unbelievable.
I gave him an hour. I gave him an hour and he wanted to talk wrestling. Oh, I did find out Saturday night where the anger comes against Amherst.
Mm.
He wrestled against a guy he got beat from an Amherst wrestler. Now Paul was a heck of a wrestler. And
Salty.
He still holds a grudge.
Ouch. Okay,
So
that makes sense.
That's why there's not a lot of love lost between Paul and Amherst.
Yeah, I can understand. I mean, because if you go to Amherst, it's a quaint little town. I mean, just little slice of Americana.
Probably a gas station. Is there a Quick Trip?
No. There's a
Quick Trip's really
BP.
missing out then. Ooh. Not as nice.
Wow.
7th grade straight champion, 94. Still upset about it. 7th grade.
Ouch.
Yeah.
That's going to stick with you.
Things don't stay with you. Yeah. That hurts. 7th grade.
So that's what we need to tell kids. Like, listen, I know this guy that like he can't even get past it from 7th grade. So you never think that this doesn't matter.
You know what's sad? If Paul types in what year was he in 7th grade,
I don't know.
Upset me a little bit because maybe he'll type in here because he's young.
Oof.
In 7th grade. How old are you in 7th grade? 13? 12?
I was 13, yeah. Oh no, 12. I probably would have been 12 and 13.
12. Yeah. 1988. I was in 7th grade.
Hmm.
Oh.
Wow. Hey, some people are old. That's the way you got to deal with it, Toby.
Wait,
he was 14 in 7th grade.
To get held back?
Could he not play as a senior because he was too old? 7th grade. He was,
yeah. 88. I was. Yeah. Why do I have hair on my chest? Because you're 18, son.
Paul rolled into his senior year smoking.
Driving the 82 Cordova. He was in 2nd grade in 88. That's not that far behind.
I was in 2nd grade in 88 too.
What?
Yeah, because I was 4. Because I'm 43, so 8 years old. 88, I would have been 8, which means about 2nd grade.
I suppose.
Mm-hmm.
I'm somewhere older than that. Man. Oh well.
Anyways, so that's what the hate against Amherst is. It's a beautiful town. They didn't have the greatest football season this year. That's their bread and butter, but they'll be back. So yeah. Me and Paul, we're like yin and yang.
Vern and Shirley.
Vern and Shirley. Who used to be Shirley?
You know what story I somehow told on last Saturday night where we stayed down in Milwaukee. We were at the hotel. We had some beers in us. And did I ever tell you about the time I jumped out of an airplane?
I don't think so.
I told us Paul, and he said it would be. He said I should tell it on the podcast. But you know what? We need more time. I don't have time. It's a teaser for next time.
What? You need more time. How long is this story?
I don't. All right, here it is. Because it's a good story. It's a really good story.
Okay, let's go.
Friday night, so Saturday morning, about 2 weeks before, we said Saturday morning we're going to drive out to Pulaski, of all places, and jump out of an airplane. So me and my buddy on Friday night, we go out on the town. We are on the town. We are having a good time. And we told every girl and everybody we could find that we were going to go skydiving, thinking it would give us some street cred, pick up some numbers, Didn't work. So we get home about 3 a.m. We're staying at my parents' house because we were back in college. And my mom wakes me up at 8 o'clock and she's like, if you're going to do this, you got to go. We jump in the car. Shouldn't have drove. Still a little hazy, from the lack of sleep. Drove to Pulaski, turned in our $100, And we get in this classroom, and this classroom is 900 degrees. And the guy's like, I'm going to put on a video. It's a 3-hour video for
Ooh,
safety. And I fall asleep, and I
ooh.
sleep for 3 hours. So I wake up to the guy going, all right, let's go. Let's take a walk outside. And he pulls me and my two buddies, because another buddy I joined, he pulls us aside and he's like, you three go to Hardee's and sober up. And I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about, right? I'm good. And he's like, nope, you're not going anywhere. So we have to go to Hardee's for an hour and drink coffee. Right. So we're drinking coffee and we're starting to feel really bad. Like things are on the downfall. So we feel we're sober and ready to rock. So we go back, and there's a pickup truck leaving the grounds of the airport. And they're like, we have to go get a kid that just skydived because the chute didn't open. And he had to pull his emergency chute. Like, they don't tell you, like, this is the bottom line, cheapest place on earth about parachuting, right? So I am like, oh my God, like, this is bad. But I'm 100 into it. And I'm like, this life is worth not losing $100. I'm like, we're in. So everybody's got like their like flight suits, and I'm like, I don't know. They had flight suits for like a tiny boy, and I'm like, that ain't gonna work, right? Like, I can't even get my legs in this thing. So I got like this mechanic suit on, right? It's like a onesie, and I'm hung. I look like I'm fixing the airplane, for God's sakes. And then they give me this little helmet, and the guy like punches it on my head and goes, right? So everything's like this. So I don't know a thing about skydiving, and we are not going tandem. I am not attached to anybody. Like, it is
What?
time. So the guy gives us a brief lowdown, like toggle, and I don't hear a word he says. And I'm like, all right, here we go. Right. So you get in the air. So you watch a guy roll your chute. He packs it up in this bag, and he's like, "This one's yours." I'm like, "This better work, right?" So I put it on. The guy helps me. I'll get in, and I'm like a 5-point harness. You know, whenever you strap something, things like come at you, and I'm like real tight. So I'm like walking around like Jojo the Rabbit Bunny, like stuffed in a 2-pound bag of sandwiches. And I get on the airplane, and the guy takes it. He hooks it to the airplane, and I'm sitting there with my two buddies and this other guy. And then there's the flight instructor and the pilot. And the doors open when you take off. And this piece of junk airplane barely like this, right? So we get 4,000 feet in the air. And he's like, "You're up." And I'm like, okay, okay, okay. So I sit, my feet are dangling out the airplane, and he's like, shimmy out on the wing. So I shimmy out on the wing by myself. You know, and most people are like flapping in the wind. I'm doing this. So I'm just hanging, I'm hanging on an airplane at 4,000 feet. And my head, I'm just like this, and the guy's like, let go. And I'm like ready to cry because I'm like, this is bad. So I let go. Now my shoe was hooked to the plane.
Okay, so that's what I
And
was going to ask. So it automatically pulls your
yeah,
chute. Okay, I was like, how do you
right. I did
allow
not.
a guy that's never jumped before to pull his own chute? Okay.
I did ask if I could do that, but he's like, you have to have so many jumps.
Yeah,
He's
yeah,
like,
yeah.
how many jumps do you have? I'm like, zero. He's like, okay, so you can't do that. So I just remember the airplane. I mean, I'm literally letting go of the airplane, and you fall so fast that it turns into a dot. And I just remember the chute opens, and I'm like, oh, thank like that's my first sigh of relief. Okay, and now I'm looking at this little thing on the ground. That's where I got to go, and I can see Rib Mountain from 4,000 feet above Pulaski, and I can see almost like Door County. Like, it was a beautiful day,
Hmm.
and I grabbed the toggles, and I'm floating around, and I was the only one that came down and walked out the landing. Talked about it
Wow.
for years. Yeah, yeah, never did it again. Nope, no need, never.
I'm impressed.
Yeah, I did paraglide the Swiss Alps. which is a different story altogether. Find myself in some situations and I can't say no. That's my issue. I gotta say yes.
You're an international man of mystery.
So yeah, my mom was not impressed.
Well,
I'll be
okay.
honest, the instructor was super impressed.
Was it? Well, so let me back this up because you said your mom woke you up to send you. So you had obviously told your mom about this, and your mom was not only in agreement with it, but she was like making you go.
Yeah.
Hungover.
He's like, you talked about it, go. And I'm like, you're right.
Okay, that's amazing.
The best is, remember, we didn't have cell phones back then. So my mom didn't know I was dead or alive until I showed up 5 hours, 6 hours later. And she's like, oh, hey, how you doing?
How was it?
I don't know, just jumped out of an airplane like a paratrooper. Like I'm going to war, right? But it was pretty cool. I would suggest one time.
So why didn't they just let you jump straight out of the plane? Why did they make you hang on like a gorilla off the?
I don't know. That's a great question. Because this airplane was not built that year, right? This bad boy had some miles on it. And I'm not the lightest feather. I'll be honest with you. I carry a little punch. I am just hanging on this thing. Like I said, most people are like their feet are in the air. But you're going, I don't know how fast you're going, 100 miles an hour, maybe? I don't know.
Yeah, probably 130, 140.
And I am just like straight wind shear. The guy's like, you gotta let go. Like
The
you're
plane,
gonna kill us all.
the plane was flying straight, and you get out, and it's like,
Pretty much. Pretty much. And then I let go and it goes.
So you didn't. Now, what would have been cool is if you've ever seen Band of Brothers when they do that little scene where they jump out over Europe or over France, and the light goes red, and then it's like green, and then a guy's just right out the way. Like, so it wasn't like that where people are just jumping right out. It was just you and where's your buddies? What'd they do? What happened?
They came after, so they all landed, but they didn't land on their feet. They landed on their butts. So um but it was
Rookies.
weird because you're wearing a tachometer, I think it's called, that tells you your how high. Because if your
Altimeter.
chute doesn't open, you have tachometers in the car. I think that's how
Yeah,
much I know.
it's okay.
But if you hit like 2,000 feet's the breaking point of like they want to shoot open. And I'm like, yeah, 4,000 feet to me is kind of the breaking point. But once your chute's open and you can control it, and it was very similar to when I did the paragliding thing. That I had a guy on my back, but to control it, parachute was pretty simple.
Hmm.
You want to go left, you pull left. You want to go right, you pull right. Nailed it.
Man, I want to. I want
And then
to.
when you
I
get
see.
close to the ground, you do them both, so the chute fills up with air, and then you just land softly. But what happens is the judging of the ground is difficult for some. So if you do it too fast and then you give back, then you land hard.
Yeah. See, that'd be fun. I'm jealous. I'm proud of you for doing it. I would like to do it. Amelia wants to jump out of an airplane, but Sarah just says if you do it, don't tell her about it. 'Cause Sarah's like nervous as all get out.
I don't know if today if they'll let you do any of that. I think you have to have now a person on your back.
Hmm.
Like you see but a tandem. But actually, I think we're expecting the tandem, like the professional to come with us, and he's like, "Man, it's Pulaski. You're good."
These two drunk dudes probably are fine.
His body's made up of booze. He ain't gonna die. He's gonna bounce.
Oh, that's funny. Okay, that's a good
Also, they
story.
still doing Pulaski. I wonder if it's that same airplane built in the 40s.
Ouch. They probably
The
sent you
guy's
out.
got to like spin it. You got to keep spinning it until it kicks in.
You were probably in a Piper Cub, would be my guess, if you're some type of Piper, because what you described, the wings with the supports out, it's some kind of Piper, probably.
Yeah, probably a cheaper airplane. I don't know. Back then it was cheap. It was $100 or something to do it. I'm not doing it again.
Hmm.
No, one and done for me.
I think you
Some
should do
people
it
are one
again.
and done, not by choice either.
Yeah, this is true, but you should do I think you should do it one more time and you should live stream it on Judging Bouncing Balls.
If we had a sponsor, I can't afford that.
That'd be pretty amazing. I like it.
I know my wife will let me do it. My wife would be like, I think it'd be a great idea.
Let's take out another policy. You should do it.
Yeah. Well, you try without the shoot. Well, of course, Paul said he'll sponsor it. That's exactly what I didn't want.
I bet. I bet.
I don't think that helmet's going to fit anymore.
Yeah, probably not. But that's a pretty cool story. Good work. I like it.
Yeah. But, Halloween.
Oh,
Halloween's yesterday was Halloween. I mean, let's be honest, one of the biggest holidays for people that can dress up ever.
yeah. I was thinking about that. I people really do like to dress up. They. I'll be honest. I get told to do it by my wife, and she does a great job. She's very creative, does nice, all the good stuff. But man, people really enjoy dressing up, and I always wonder why. Like, I like to think about things like, why do people really like it that much? Is this just like an escape, or they just like the idea of doing something a little different, playing a character, not being themselves? I don't know. I always wonder why people like dressing up so much, but people really like it.
I'm with you. Like I don't care what people do. I did like your family.
Well, thank you.
You're the all-American.
Oh yeah, we're something. I'll tell you that. I did enjoy making fun of Amelia because she was the wicked witch of the wicked witch of the West. Jeez, and she has that perfect face for it. That RBF. She does it well, and it's yeah. It was she fit it very well. We teased her the whole night.
Well, for those out there that didn't see the photo, it was the Wizard of Oz.
Hmm.
You were the Tin Man. I did see you had a heart.
I earned it. That's right. Yeah.
And then your Amelia was a Wicked Witch.
Yes. Isaac was the scarecrow.
Isaac was the Scarecrow.
Yeah. Lucy was the was oh geez, what's her name? The main character.
Dorothy.
Dorothy, thank you. And then Sarah was the wicked witch, no, the good witch of the north. And then who am I missing here?
Oliver was the
the cowardly lion.
Scarecrow. The lion, that's it, sorry.
Cowardly lion, yeah.
Man.
So
You had enough kids to be the Wizard of Oz.
we got enough.
That's awesome.
We've done some fun ones actually. We did one that was what was the other one? We did one where like Amelia was a football player and Isaac, I think everybody Oliver was a football. Amelia was Aaron Rodgers. I was a referee. Sarah, like we've done these like grouping things where we do. Yeah, you go back on our Facebook and it was pretty funny.
Now, do you do it for the littles, for Luce and Oliver? Is that kind of the fun, or is it just kind of a fun thing to do with family?
It's a fun thing to do with the family, and then yeah, Sarah really enjoys being creative with that. Like she made my costume, and she kind of designs all the kids, so she gets all the credit for being the creative person. But yeah, we try to do something usually that's the whole family. Oh, that's right, we did Scooby Doo last year. We all were somebody from Scooby Doo. Oh no, that was 2 years ago. 1 year ago was all Mario Kart. Like the kids were Mario, Luigi. Oliver was running up to the house, being like, "It's me, Mario." We have it on video. It was awesome. He's like yelling it to people. It was pretty funny. So we try to do
Were you
themes.
Were you Shaggy?
Who was I? I think no. I had the guy that had a God. What's that called? An ascot. I had an ascot. I was the like preppy guy.
Not Ken, but I forget his name.
Yeah, I don't remember his name either. But
That's
we had the
awesome.
mystery machine and everything. So
Seriously?
we had like a little like a little those little not blow up, but they'll like have wires inside and they kind of pop up. We had one of those and we just walked in it. So Fred, I was Fred. Thank you, Joe Shearer. And yes, I said
That's,
RBF.
Yeah. Well, there's a lot of them out there in the world today. That's fantastic. Yeah. Hey, did you see the viral video of the mom and the kids that ran up to the house? Actually, Greg told me today, which you missed the kickball game at soccer.
I wanted to play in that too. That would have been so much fun.
I thought I was a lot better than I really was. In my head, I had a lot of championship kicks, and I didn't have it. I didn't have it.
Really?
But we're gonna post a picture, and we'll put it on our Facebook page. But also, and we got to get it to Joe. But Maya showed up in the Garfield costume, and it was massive.
I saw the
Like
video of that.
the eyes were up here, and she could barely see. And she we're like, "Hey, Maya, do you want to get out of the costume so you could play?" She's like, "No, I'm good. I'm good." And I'm like, "That is awesome." She was fantastic. Annabelle came as an old man grilling guy, and she had this big belly. And the best is the ball came to her, and she couldn't pan down because of the belly. I'm like, "Yeah, that's called getting old."
I like it.
But we could have used it. We jumped out to a 4-0 lead, um, and then 4-2, and then 5-2. And then we went into the bottom of the sixth inning. Final inning, got beat 6-5.
Oof.
Kids figured it out.
Dang kids.
Disappointing, but nobody got hurt. On the
We
parents'
played
side, at
kickball.
least.
We played kickball once for one of Amelia's teams in basketball. This was a few years ago back when she still played basketball. And the best part is the way I've always played sports with my kids is I never go easy on them. And I just remember bombing a kick. I mean, just bombing that thing and running around the bases, just rubbing it in. And they're probably like fifth grade. It was awesome. I have no shame.
That's what I had. That's what I had visioned in my head. I had me bombing the ball. Like his coaches on our team. And he's like, if you kick it into the soccer net, that's a home run. I'm like, that's not that far. Dude, I can kick it 8 feet. Like I kept owing the ground. That's embarrassing.
I wanted to. I can't remember who it is. There's a comedian that talks about that, like kickball when you're a kid, and there's always that one kid that's like kind of preppy, but he still played, and he just remembers like him swinging at the ball and his loafer going farther than the ball. That's probably what I imagined happening.
The coach did a
Yeah.
good job. He made the bases. He made the bases with 4 cones. So one base was like 12 square feet. So nobody got hurt.
Mm,
You could pretty much dance in the thing. So
okay.
a lot of trash talking. Mason
Nice.
did kick a home run, 2-run
Oof.
home run, which I was very not proud, but then I'm going to use those 2 runs.
Yeah. They ended up hurting you coming back. So, what kind of trash talk are we talking? Let's get a little flavor.
Well, I'll be honest, a couple of them said I was an easy out, which
Ow.
very
That
disappointing.
hurts.
Yeah. And then I was an easy out twice too. That kind of stuck. They picked up my speed.
Mm.
Not like, wow, is he fast? Like you'd think, but no, he ain't going very far. So it's just a lot of fun humor. Yeah.
Did you get any good digs in on them, or was it all one sided?
No, I try not to. My wife says I take things overboard sometimes, and I don't need anybody hating me. So
Mm. I'll be honest. The kids at school always ask me like, "Why do you make fun of us so much?" Because I do. I today we played a game and I teased a lot of children incessantly, and there's a few times they're like, "I don't think you're supposed to say that to kids in school," and I'm like, "I literally became a teacher to make fun of you guys. That's why I'm here. So I am going to do that, and I'm going to enjoy it." So obviously in good fun, but I do love to tease kids. It's a good time.
you spend a lot of time with.
Oh, you do. Yeah. So, anyways, that's good to hear. I like it. We would have loved to have been there. Amelia she missed her captain's practice last week for hockey, and they only have 2. And so we're like, yeah. So we didn't go to it last week. So she decided to go to it this week. So that's full force next Monday. Hockey 5 days a week. And you think we travel, I know we talked about maybe talking about which to travel in here. Every practice is like, well, actually, we do have 2 in Stevens Point. We have 1 in Marshfield, 2 in Stevens Point, and 2 in Wapaka. So like that's our schedule for practices is running around at different arenas because it's a co-op between multiple cities. So we try to move the home base around to those cities, you know, wherever the kids are from. So that'd be sweet if, the Loons wanted to ever have a practice in Point, follow that model. That'd be cool. But,
Yeah, they did follow the model. They have practices in Green Bay now.
yeah, I know. So if they ever want to throw a bone to Stevens Point, we're good with it.
You know what's depressing is, let's say the club would be like, we're going to go to Spash, right? We have a great opportunity to play on the university campus, amazing field, whatever it is.
Mhm.
How many girls do you think show up
For what do you mean? Like,
to go to Spash to practice, to come out to you to practice?
from our school?
No, out of our Loons, like what I'm saying is, you
I
drive in
got you.
every day, like you're committed to come to Appleton.
I would say, what do we have, 16 on the team right now? Let's
Yeah.
just assume there's no conflicts. If people didn't have conflicts, I think there'd probably be good 14, 15, I don't know, 13, 14, something like that.
Would drive out to Spass.
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe I'm optimistic. 5. Come on. I don't know if it's that bad. Joe would come for sure. He loves driving.
Carpool, I bet you we could get 5, but we can't even get more than 8 in Green Bay.
No, there's been 10 or 12 in Green Bay before. Come on. You got a few people that have things going and can't make it, but there'd be a decent amount.
Even Paul said you're optimistic.
Did he? Where I didn't see that. Yeah, maybe I am. Got to live life on the optimistic side.
I'd like to find out. We should practice out by you once.
Let's just do it like every third week. We'll just have one here. Make everybody drive.
We might as well. What's the difference? It's only another hour.
I mean, they could just take over our club too. That'd be fine. Not that would ever happen.
We gotta talk, right? Well, or maybe we'll be joining Cap City. We're gonna be having to go to Lansing to play.
Oof.
That's gonna be tough to make practices.
Why do we have to go to Lansing?
Well, that's where my guy I know.
Oh yeah, I got you.
DOC.
Gotcha.
If he's part of the Michigan. If my friend is part of the Michigan State University soccer program, I'm gonna have to spend some money on him.
Okay. We'll see. Yeah. So, anyways, I think there'd be a decent amount.
Did you see the video though? If you haven't, look it up. There was a bowl of large candy bars in front of this person's house, and they had the Ring camera right there.
Mm-hmm.
3 moms and 3 kids come screaming up, and they're like, "Large candy bars!" And they just empty this bowl. Like,
what?
Like, the moms are grabbing like 5 at a time. They're like, "This is great." And they're like, "Take it all." It's right on camera, and now they're going viral. Not a good look.
That's a bad look. There was actually, we have this this website or not website, but a Facebook group over here that's called Stevens Point Happening. And that was one of the things that people posted today. Was a lot of people had bowls out and it said take one, and people just emptied their bowl and they had them on camera doing it, emptying the bowl. And it's like, come on, people. Not everybody can always be there. If they put a sign out that says take one, don't be a jagoff and just dump the whole bowl in. Just take one and move on. There's going to be lots of candy. I mean, our kids went out for 25 minutes and they came back literally with a big bag of candy. So it's not, and it didn't even take that much effort. So you don't need to steal a whole bowl from somebody. That's ridiculous. It's just, come on. So they probably should go viral, honestly.
You got to think in your head. There's cameras everywhere now, right? Every house, every Ring camera. So if you're stealing the whole bucket, you deserve it.
Yeah, that's
You
dumb.
look dumb. If you're a 10-year-old, 12-year-old little boy and you steal it, all right. Hey, let's have a little chitty chat with them, clean up
Right.
the act. But if you're a mom and you're grabbing candy bars like you're gonna die without eating,
you might want to reevaluate your life at that point.
Yeah.
I will say though, Halloween, underappreciated people who give out full-size candy bars. They're like legends. Like seriously, they become legends. Their house is known like throughout the whole neighborhood. Everyone knows who they are. Like Mr. Johnson's giving out full-size candy bars. I mean, it is amazing how fast that spreads. Or if they give out like Kansas, it's pretty
And
amazing.
it's an investment now to rock out some full size candy bars.
You're talking $1.50 a bar, basically, or whatever. I mean, it's some cash. You better be doing well. Let's say.
You have kids come to your house?
We actually go to my in-laws neighborhood. We turn all our lights off and our whole yard lights and everything off so nobody comes in. Because then we're in the middle of the
Yeah.
country, so like we have neighbors next to us who are awesome, but they have like the only kids in the neighborhood and it's basically no kids. So we don't
Yeah,
stick
we're in the
around.
same boat. Nobody comes. We have like 5 kids that come down our road, so we weren't even home. But there are two neighborhoods out by us. One of them is there's Harbor Lights Lake. It's all the big boy homes, and there's always a gazillion kids. The cops and the fire truck is out there handing out stuff, and there's another
Nice.
one over by Bayport that is like everybody from all over the community goes there, and I think Green Bay comes out and it's pretty cool. But I don't know. I'm fine with my neighborhood being quiet.
Okay, so did you dress up? I never asked you. I was rude. I never asked.
I did today. Well, last night I didn't have anything to wear today, so we went to dinner instead of being home, so we could turn off all our lights. And I ended up at Sam's Club because we bought cookie cake and some bubbler for the team tonight.
Nice.
And they had a 3-piece suit in a box, and it was Christmas theme. And so I had pants, a jacket, and a tie. And then in the pocket, boom, it's sparkle lights like Christmas.
Wow.
So I win is Christmas.
And you're gonna wear that obviously at Christmas as well.
Yeah,
Uh, Obviously.
I really was hoping that 'cause I'm going to the game on Sunday. I was hoping it was a night game. So when they turn off all the lights for the introductions, boom, and there's
Boop.
me just sparkling up the thing. Just and everybody's like, "Who's the sparkly guy?" I'd be like, "That's me." But it's not going to happen because it's in the middle of the day.
Yeah. If there's one thing that I've heard said about you, it's that you sparkle.
That's a true statement.
Yes, that's true.
Yeah. So, um,
Awesome.
Joe was a dinosaur.
Nice.
Andy King was the middle finger, which was funny. It's just a helmet, like a thing that fit. And
Please tell me that Jake showed up as the loon.
Jake didn't come.
Jake, did you see his costume? Speaking of costumes, I mean, seriously,
Can we put his picture up on the Facebook page?
yes, we should. Unbelievable. Our resident ref went as Albert Einstein with his natural hair, which is obviously gorgeous. And I think I'm allowed to say it's gorgeous. His hair is unbelievable, and he went as Einstein, and he looked phenomenal. It was amazing.
Just killed it.
His whole family dressed up too. They looked all great. So just killing life.
Jake. But he
Jake.
did kill Jake. I will say this during the kickball game, Jake Willicat, Davis dad, hit the ground twice, and Joe hit the ground once. A lot of goose poop.
Mm,
I did not go on the ground. I'm like, nope, don't care.
not happening.
Don't care. Not happening. A lot of goose poop out there today. So it's good that we're no longer playing at Shields Park right
Okay, that's good to
now.
know.
Whatever the heck it's called. So, yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, it's awesome. I love it. Oh, I think we've covered lots of topics. Paul's probably did Paul dress up? I didn't see any pictures of Paul.
He said he's not into he said
I
Halloween.
know he hates it, but he's married too, so it doesn't matter.
100%.
Because
100%.
truth be told, I hate it too.
Yeah. It's kind of a very unpopular opinion, but I'm with you. Like, it's a lot of effort. I don't have any foresight to be like, hey, in a month, I need to do this. We don't do like a Halloween party or anything, which I think I wish I did, because then maybe I would start to gauge it out.
Yeah.
I saw a lot of rips this year from Yellowstone. I don't think that's quite me.
Yeah. See, I'll tell you what. There's a couple times I've enjoyed it. The one time I enjoyed dressing up, I'll tell you who I was. And see, if I get into character, I kind of enjoy it. I was Carl Spackler. You know who Carl Spackler is? You'll know who it is when I tell you. Caddyshack. He's the golfer that talks like this. He's the groundskeeper. And when Carl Spackler says,
Bill Murray.
I'm at Augusta, 18th hole. It's in the hole. You know,
It's in the,
I love it. And when he's doing the whole, it's the Dalai Lama. He's a big hitter, the Dalai Lama. You got to get into it. And that one I really enjoyed because I love Carl Spackler. I had the boots, I had the cutoffs. I mean, I like that one. So if I can get into character, it's a little bit more fun. But Tin Man, like really, I don't know.
did I ever tell you I played the golf course where they filmed Caddyshack?
Yeah, I heard it's a dump. Like you.
It's a terrible dump. And I did all the that's a peach on, but yeah. It's a dump.
Hey, that's a great movie. Carl Spackler, one of my favorites. One of my favorites. So, anyways, that's when it got fun.
Yeah, and if you buy in, right, like you said, you got
Yeah, for sure.
You didn't buy into the Tin Man yesterday. Like you didn't
No.
sing and you didn't tap your way down the Golden Road.
I didn't.
That's okay.
And that's on me. That's on me.
Yeah. Well, you got to have a little chat with yourself. But what am I bringing to the family?
That's right. What am I bringing to the table? That's on me. So I got to be better. Be better, Rob.
Be better, Rod. Yep. All right.
All right, man. I think we've lost everyone at this point. They're all like, we're done.
Yeah.
All right, man. Have a good night. We'll see you next week. Next week. And we don't have any games this weekend. So it's next week. I'm trying to get the shows updated. I got a little bit more time and they'll start going out on the Googles. So you'll see them there as well.
Yeah. We'll find some stories or some videos like we did last week. I thought that was a good show.
Awesome. Yeah, agreed. Sounds good.
All right.
All right. Take care, man.